Hey guys, how are you today? You're probably wondering why do I have a different background? It's because my lights broke, also my ring light broke, but that didn't stop me from filming today. So today we're going to talk about a military guy who blew himself up in his Tesla truck. You've probably heard of this story, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think that this topic is not discussed as often in the media. Let's talk about Matthew Livelsberger. So Matthew Livelsberger was a 37-year-old highly decorated Green Beret and 5-time Bronze Star recipient. As you probably heard, he died in a self-inflicted explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on January 1st, 2025. So I think that he unalived himself on this day because he wanted even the date to be memorable. I really thought that 2025 is going to be a fresh start for the world, for everyone. And it didn't start like that, not even for Matthew. He made the plan to unalive himself on this day, and for what? He was a soldier for 19 years. So he was born in Colorado Springs. He served 19 years in the military, including deployments in Afghanistan and Germany. He reportedly suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, or as we know it, PTSD, and a traumatic brain injury. This affected his memory, concentration, and ability to maintain relationships. Despite his amazing career, which included a Bronze Star with a V device for Valor Under Fire, the toll of witnessing and participating in violence haunted him. As he confided to his former girlfriend, Alicia Arid, a former Army nurse, his life had become personal hell. So he expressed to his ex that he could not stand the thought of having killed so many people. And this is what no one is talking about, the fact that so many soldiers, after getting back from Afghanistan or places like that, where there are conflicts and they have to kill people, this is why they have PTSD and no one to help them overcome that disorder. And also, as I've heard, veterans and ex-soldiers who retire, they're not taken care of well in the US. Some of them, because of this PTSD, they cannot maintain the life they had before. Matthew and Alicia, his ex, met in 2018 through a dating app in Colorado Springs. Arid, who treated traumatic brain injuries, TBI, during her service as Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany, quickly recognized signs of TBI in Matthew, including withdrawal, depression, and memory loss. Nevertheless, she described him as a man of deep integrity and strength, but burdened by unprocessed drama. Quote unquote, she said he had a really deep well of inner strength and character, and he just had a lot of integrity. Matthew shared glimpses of his struggles and the scars left by his deployments with her. He sent her a photo of a tattoo he got to commemorate the lives he had taken in Afghanistan. The tattoo displayed 2 skulls pierced by bullets. While Matthew downplayed his injuries, describing them as just some concussions, quote unquote, his ex noticed his exhaustion and inability to sleep, compounded by reliving the violence he had. Despite the weight of his experiences, Matthew became a father last year. So in 2023, he had a child with another woman. So because Alice is his ex, he had another woman after he broke up with her, and they apparently had a child last year. This milestone added complexity to Matthew's life, balancing the joys of parenthood with the ongoing battles against his inner demons. His ex encouraged Livelsberger to seek help while they were together for his mental health struggles, but he was reluctant because he feared being deemed medically unfit for deployment, which he felt would jeopardize his career. If I were in his place, I would say, fuck my career. I'm gonna go and be a bartender somewhere. It's not an easy job, but it's far better for your mental health than being a soldier and killing people, defending your country, but killing people nevertheless. Yeah, I would be a waiter, a server, a cleaner. I would try to be a programmer. I would try to, I don't know, I would try to be anything. So he's a professional killer when you really think about it. This profession, I say profession and I am creating air quotes because, in my opinion, allegedly, it's not a profession. It's a delusion. You are fooled by your government that you're doing a great thing. You're defending your country. You are, but at what cost, like you're killing so many people and you could also be killed, and for what? Why can't we all just have like, this is a silly thought and I know it, but why can't we just all agree in the world that we're not gonna fight anymore? I hope that AI gets to the point where we have these lasers. I don't know if we have them right now, that if you cross a border somehow, if you try to attack a country, you would be killed by AI. So I really hope that AI helps us save soldiers' lives in the future. Tell me, what do you think? His ex said there was a lot of stigma in his unit. They were quote unquote big, strong, special forces guy. There was no weakness allowed, and mental health is weakness is what they saw. Mental health is not weakness. I don't understand what they're saying. Your mental health is far more important than your physical health. Hear me out. If you are healthy mentally, you're gonna be healthy physically. In most cases. And if you're healthy physically, it doesn't mean that you're healthy mentally. So if you're tough in the field, it doesn't mean that you're a tough in the mental field, okay? And it doesn't mean that you're gonna have a great life if you present yourself as a big, strong, special forces guy. You're gonna die one day, okay? At least make sure you die happy and not with PTSD. So don't take your mental health for granted and seek help if you have some sort of disorder, especially PTSD, because it can lead you to unaliving yourself, and we don't want that, okay? Nevertheless, he recently sought treatment for depression. That's good. His decision marked a significant step, but it came amidst years of internalized pain and resistance to seeking help. Although they had stopped talking regularly after their breakup in 2020, so they've dated for 3 years, then they broke up, and then he had another girlfriend or wife, and they now have a son. He contacted his ex again on December 28th, so a few days before he's unaliving, just days before his death, and he sent upbeat messages including videos of his Cybertruck that he purchased. His ex noted the intentionality and symbolism behind his final act. She said, quote unquote, he wasn't impulsive. I don't see him doing this impulsively, so my suspicion would be that he was probably thinking it out. I agree with her. He made this mess. I mean, not mess, but he unalived himself on purpose on January 1st, 2025 in front of Trump's hotel and in a Tesla because he wanted to prove some point. His choice of location outside the Trump Hotel and the use of a Tesla, a product he admired, reflected his deep emotional complexity. However, law enforcement found no evidence of political motivations, and Ritz said both she and Livelsberger were Tesla enthusiasts who had bonded over their shared interest in the vehicles. So he has sent her videos of the Cybertruck days before he died because that was his way of reconnecting with her through something they both liked, and apparently they met and bonded over their shared interest in the brand. We also found out that Matthew left a note claiming that the explosion was not a terrorist attack. I have heard a video online. It was by Crime Weekly, one of my favorite podcasts. Shout out Stephanie Harlow and Derek Levasseur. They described this act as terrorist attack, and I highly disagree with them. I think that they said that they found a note and blah, 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 blah. They didn't know what it is exactly, allegedly, in my opinion, but they sort of described it as a terrorist attack. When I read the news about Matthew, I knew that it wasn't a terrorist attack because there was a lot of intentionality behind his act. And as he described it himself in his final note, Matthew said that this was, quote unquote, a wake-up call for Americans to address what he's described as the country's, quote unquote terminal state. So he thought that the country's leadership is weak, which at that time, or this time, or that time, is Biden still in power? I think he was referring to him because Biden was the one who initiated the wars, okay? I mean, not all wars, but the war in Ukraine, in my opinion, allegedly, I think he fueled it somehow. And he also funneled a lot of money into Ukraine. And he also pardoned his son because his son was also involved in the incident. Allegedly, in my opinion, don't come for me, as Stephanie Harlow would say. But yeah, I think that he referred to the country's weak leadership as the one of Biden, not of Trump. His closest friends and relatives said that Matthew was a Trump supporter and he thought that the US is terminally ill and headed towards collapse. I am not a fan of anyone. I mean, I like Trump more than Biden, but I don't like any of them, okay? I don't know if that makes sense. When they shot him, I admired him so much and his strength. And I published the popular photo with his hand in the air saying fight. And I lost some friends for that, which was very strange and stupid. And wow, I thought to myself, you know, some people are really that shallow that you would stop talking to me over a photo that I shared because I admired the guy's bravery and strength and his love for his people. To do that, you have to really love your country. And that's why he won, because people saw that he loves the USA. That's why he started deporting the criminals. The world knows it because Selena Gomez started crying about it online. We made a short video on it a few days ago. Selena, you can stop crying. They're not deporting kids. While Matthew had no strong political affiliations, he loved his country deeply, even as he questioned some government actions. I can assume that he was questioning what Biden was doing in Ukraine. And why were I'm not from the US, but why are you giving all these countries money to fuel their wars? Why are you giving them weapons? Why are you having proxy wars with countries you don't like? And why don't you like those countries? Why aren't you an ally with Russia? His ex shared her shock and grief, saying, "I've just been rolling it around my head for 2 days. I do not understand it." She also highlighted Matthew's bravery and sense of purpose, believing his actions, however tragic, were deliberate. So she thinks that he unalived himself are conspiracy theories that he was killed. On the contrary, he wanted to get Trump's attention by blowing up his truck in front of his hotel. And he did it in a Tesla because he also wanted to get the attention of one of the richest, if not the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. That's why I think he chose that type of brand and that location. What do you think? I think he did it on purpose, but not so that people can start questioning Trump's presidency and, cause maybe a civil war or whatever. So that's not true, in my opinion. His ex said he was always really brave, so whatever he thought he was doing, I bet he thought it was brave. Family members describe Matthew as a patriotic soldier and a supporter of Donald Trump. You see, I was right. So I did support Donald Trump. Just before his death, his wife, with whom he has the child with, supposedly left him, which made his mental state even worse. And he drove the Tesla, which was rented, from his hometown to Las Vegas, where he carried out the explosion. The FBI confirmed the Cybertruck was not in self-driving mode, dispelling conspiracy theories about his death being orchestrated. Matthew's tragic act injured 7 bystanders and highlighted the ongoing mental health crisis among veterans, what I was saying in the beginning. His story sheds light on struggles faced by soldiers returning from combat and raises questions about the societal and systemic factors contributing to such events. I think I've expressed my opinions on this topic throughout Matthew's story, throughout telling his story, and I really want to hear what you think, why he did what he did. I think he did it to prove a point and maybe think about stopping all the wars, which I sincerely hope Trump will do, especially with Ukraine. That's been going on for like years now. I'm so sick of it. Thank you for watching, guys. This was a longer video. I wanted to share Matthew's story, and he has such an amazing ex-girlfriend, which is rare to see because many people, after they break up, they have bad things to say about their former loved ones, but she had some great things to say about him, and she is really sorry that he lost his life. We haven't heard anything from his wife, so maybe if she expresses her opinion on Matthew and shares some personal details, I will make a second video on this topic, and let's see how his death is going to affect the US public. I hope you haven't forgotten about him because even me outside the US, I haven't forgotten about him and what he did and what he said. And I think he was absolutely right in what he said in his final note. We should all wake up. So please wake up. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment for engagement, and see you in my next one.